Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are around the world. We just want to remind you, of course, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another great video with the hockey coach guru, Coach Frenchy. Today, we are going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens prediction for the upcoming season 2021-2022 in NHL. So don't go nowhere. But before we start talking about the Montreal Canadiens season 2021-2022 prediction, we want to invite you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hockey National Show on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. Please, if you enjoyed this video, click on the likes. And finally, tell us in comments about this video. What is your prediction for the Montreal Canadiens? Where do you see them? Are they going to make the playoff or not? Tell us about what you think about this. So let's start talking about the first players. And of course, we have to talk about the number 14, Nick Suzuki. We know he just signed an 8-year contract a couple of days ago for $63 million. I predict for Nick Suzuki, center number 1, first of all, play a lot of minutes on power play and of course on PK. 24 goals, 40 assists for a total of 64 points. He's going to be the number 1 for the Montreal Canadiens on the total of the point for the upcoming season. The second player I want to talk about is Tyler Toffoli, number 73. Tyler Toffoli start his second year with the Montreal Canadiens after he signed a contract of 4 years with the Montreal Canadiens. He has 28 goals last season. I predict for him a 27 goal, 23 assists, 50 points. We know he's going to play at that moment at the beginning of the year with Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and the first line, and we know he's going to be on the power play for sure. The next player I want to talk about is Jeff Petry. This is going to become now the number 1 defense for the Montreal Canadiens on the offensive side and defensive side. We know with no Shane Weber, the captain now, Petry is going to get, for me, 13 goals, 32 assists for a total of 45 points for upcoming season. He's going to be, in my eyes, the best defenseman on the offensive side for sure. The next player I want to talk about is the rookie Cole Caulfield, going to be his first season with the Montreal Canadiens as a full-time also in NHL. The number 22 is going to play with Suzuki and Toffoli. He's going to get 24 goals, 25 assists for 49 points. The key is here. This is enough. Do you believe is enough to win the Calder Trophy for the Rookie of the Year? I'm not sure. He's going to compete, in my eyes, again, Lucas Raymond and Zegras at the end of the year. So it'll be interesting to follow up with Caulfield if he's going to the winner of the Calder Trophy at the end. The next one is Brendan Gallagher. Of course, Gallagher is the heart of the team. We know what he can do on the ice. With his intensity game after game. I predict for Brendan Gallagher 23 goals, 19 assists for a total of 42 points. Brendan is just amazing player for the Montreal Canadiens. The fans love him. We know the way he plays. We wish the best for him for the upcoming season. The next one is Josh Anderson, second year with the Montreal Canadiens. Anderson, he has 17 goals last season. I predict 24 goals for him and also 17 assists for a total of 41 points. He's going to be at that moment with Christian DVORAK on the second line and Jonathan Drouin. Anderson, we know by his speed, his physicality during the game. So Josh is really important. Top 6 in my eyes for the Montreal, plus power play for the upcoming season for Josh Anderson. The next one is defenseman Joel Edmundson. Again, also him for the second year with the Montreal Canadiens. He got a contract of 4 years at $3.5 million. Unfortunately, at that moment, he's on the injury list. He's not going to be a starter for the Montreal Canadiens inside of the roster. I predict for him 2 goals, 8 assists for 10 points. He's not for the offensive side. He's the guy on the defensive side. Play an amazing, great defense coverage. He's going to be missed by the Montreal Canadiens on the left side. Hopefully, he's not going to be out for many games because Montreal will need him, of course. The next one is another one, Ben CHIAROT. We know what Edmundson does. We know what CHIAROT does also. I predict for him a little bit more offensive, a 3 goal, 12 assists, for 15 points. He did not have a lot of good year last season on the offensive side with only 1 goal, but I predict Ben's going to be a little bit better. This is the final year for him for his contract at $3.5 million. He's going to become a UFA. Can he resign with the Montreal? Can he go somewhere else? That's the biggest question I'm going to know at the end of the year. But Ben Chiarot is going to play a major key on the defensive side for the upcoming season with the Montreal Canadiens. The next one is Joel Armia. We know he got traded from the Winnipeg Jets for the Montreal Canadiens. For me, Joel Armia is a little bit the inconsistency. When he's hot, he's hot. But after that, it can be cold for 10, 12 games after that. But I predict a better season for him with 14 goals, 12 assists. We know last season he got some injuries with only 7 goals, with concussion and COVID-19 twice, if you remember. So hopefully Joel will be, more on the ice and not have any injuries during the season. But again, play on the third line is a bottom 6 on my eyes at that moment. Play on the third line with Gallagher and Jake Evans because Hoffman is not there at that moment. But at some point, he's going to be back on the 4th line. But it's going to be really good for the PK for the Montreal Canadiens. The next player I want to talk about is Artturi Lehkonen, number 62. Look, we know what he does. He's a guy work, a blue collar, great on the defensive coverage, very smart, and you know what he needs to do to stay in the NHL. He's not there anymore as an offensive side. He scored 18 goals at the beginning of his career with Montreal. He never be the same kind of player after that, but we know what he does on the defensive side. I predict for him 9 goals, 14 assists for 23 points for Artturi Lehkonen. The next one is Jake Evans. This is going to be his 2nd year full-time in NHL. Last season, it was his full year with the Montreal Canadiens. Just signed a new contract of 3 years at 1.7 AAV. I predict for him 8 goals, 14 assists, 22. At that moment, he is the 3rd center for the Montreal Canadiens. He's going to play a key major on different things on the ice for the Montreal. What are you talking about? Face-off, first of all. PK is another one. He's a great on the defensive coverage, and I think he can be a little bit what Philippe Danault he was doing for the Montreal Canadiens at some point or at some degree. So it will be really interesting if Jake Evans can reach the 20 point in NHL for the upcoming season. The next one I want to talk about is this Alexander Romanov. He was a rookie last season. This is his 2nd year in Montreal. I don't predict a lot on the offensive side. Only 2 goals, 12 assists. Again, he had a difficult time during the second half of the season last season. He didn't have a great training camp. He had a up and down at some point. He needs to be a little bit better on the defensive side, better coverage, better aware what's going on around him. That's maybe his biggest enemy is himself. He sometimes try to do too much on the ice and just play the basic of hockey, the right things, play the right things to do on the ice. So be interested to see what Romanov is going to do. At the beginning of the year, he's going to start on the 3rd pair defense with Chris Whiteman. The next one is Brett Kulak. We know him I believe is a 3rd year with the Montreal Canadiens, maybe 4. But at the end of the day, Kulak is going to be a guy who's going to be 5, 6, 7 inside for the Montreal Canadiens. He's a LD, play on the RD, sometime on the right side. I predict 3 goals, 9 assists, 12. He a little bit, a guy can carry on the puck. He can bring a little bit more on the offensive side sometimes, but it's a player you can count on him. So I think for Montreal Canadiens, he's maybe not play 82 games, but when he need a solid defenseman at some point, I think Brett Kulak, that's what he brings for the Montreal Canadiens, some depth inside of Montreal on the defensive side. The next one is a new player just come from the Montreal Canadiens, signed a contract with the Montreal at $3.5 million for 4 years. David Savard, number 58. Really disappointment training camp for him. Hopefully, he's going to step up when the season starts. I predict only for 1 goal, 8 assists. He's not there for an offensive side. He's there for the defensive side. But he did so many mistakes during the training camp. I don't know why. I don't know if he's never stay. I don't know if he tried to do too much. it was not really good to watching him, to be honest with you. I expect more and better without Shea Weber. We need him. The reason we signed him is for his physicality, but also his defensive side. But so far, didn't have a great training camp, to be honest with you. The next one is Jonathan Drouin. We know what happened with him. He quit. He stopped to play at the second part of the season, last season. He did not return during the playoff. Jonathan is going to, for me, a new Jonathan, a new season for him, a new restart, a reborn. Hopefully, Jonathan Drouin is going to be the most important thing for him. It's not about the point between you and me. I wish for him to be happy, to enjoy, to have fun. That's what hockey is all about. That's what I ask him to do and to get for the upcoming season. I predict 11 goals, 38 point assists for 49 points. Did a little bit more for him. But at the end of the day, it's not about the point for him, like I mentioned. Be happy, Jonathan. Have fun, and I wish the best for the upcoming season. The next one I want to talk about, of course, is Mike Hoffman. Just signed a contract of 3 years at $4.5 million. Hoffman is the key major important player for the Montreal Canadiens on power play. Obviously, he's going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks at the beginning of the season. But I predict for him 28 goals, 18 assists, 46 points, and about 12 goals on power play for me, maybe 14. So it'll be interesting what Mike Hoffman is going to do. But Montreal Canadiens need him on the power play, the left winger. At some point, he's going to be between the second line and the third line for the Montreal Canadiens. The next one is Cédric Paquette. Le Petit Québécois just signed a one-year contract with the Montreal Canadiens. Last year, he got traded from Ottawa to Carolina, and now he became a UFA. Montreal got him. It's just about that. At the beginning of the year, without Hoffman, he's going to start on the four line between right wing or left or center. I predict for him a max of 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. He brings for me that. Good on face-off. But at the end of the day, Montreal will need him maybe for, like I mentioned, that for the upcoming season. The next one is a really key major important player for the Montreal Canadiens. Is it a Philippe Danault 2.0? I think it can be, but with more offensive side. We know he's strong on the face-off. We know he's great on power play. I expect him to get 24 goals, 28 assists, 52 points. He's going to be the second best scorer for Montreal Canadiens on my eyes. But again, he has a great contract, 4 years, $4.5 million. They got trade from Arizona to Montreal Canadiens. Mega trade for the Montreal after the departure of Jesperi Kotkaniemi. So it'd be really important what DVORAK. The season of Montreal could be better, successful, better if DVORAK reach maybe 55 points and bring more on the offensive side. But we expect a lot from Christian DVORAK for the upcoming season. The next one is another new player. Mathieu Béraud came for as a UFA, signing a one-year contract at $950, 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points. He can play on the third line, but he will start on the fourth line. We know what he can bring. Forecheck. He have a couple of great skills at some point. He can score. He comes in front of the net. He can play also on power play at some point. I think he can get a little bit more minutes per game. He can play a major role for Montreal. Will be interesting what Perrault can do. But again, he bring some depth at the bottom six for the Montreal Canadiens. The next one is just got for the Montreal Canadiens. Claim on the waiver list for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know Adam Brooks. He was a 92 overall pick and 2016 NHL draft. Brooks have played last season 11 games with Toronto. He has 5.4 goals, 1 assist. He have an amazing, great career, junior and WHL with 120, 130 points. Brooks, I predict for him 12 goals, 16 assists. Yes, I predict he's going to be a major, not a major, but he's going to be a player, be on the lineup night after night because his offensive is pretty good. You'll be surprised what he can do on the offensive side. He needs to have a better defensive coverage, and unfortunately, his skate is average. But he need overall, I believe Montreal will need him on the bottom six for sure for upcoming season. The next one is Chris Whiteman. We know he played in a KHL last season, have a great year over there. He has two roles for the Montreal: carry on the puck and also great on power play as a quarterback, move the puck very quickly. But again, as a defenseman, number 6 could be sometime out of the lineup. But overall, I predict for him 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points for Chris Whiteman. The next one I want to do is Alex Belzile. Listen, he's there at that moment because Hoffman is on the injury list, and Paul Biron also. So at that moment, I believe Belzile is just here for a couple of games, maybe a couple of weeks. He's going to be returned, and Laval Rocket, one Hoffman is coming back for the Montreal Canadiens. But the max I can predict for him right now: 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. The next one I want to talk about, of course, is all the goaltender. Carey Price is not going to start the season with the Montreal Canadiens. I expect him to be returned between 45 days to 60 days. I predict 35 game max for him. 18 W, 14 loss, and 3 OT, at a 2.68 goal again average and a .903 save percentage for him. That's my prediction for Carey Price. We wish the best for him. At that moment, it's not about the stat for him. Again, it's a one need to have a great recovery and be ready, be stronger, be better when you are. And Montreal Canadiens fans can wait for Carey Price. The next one, of course, is going to become now the goaltender number 1. Drawing Price is not there. It's Jake Allen. I predict him for a lot of games, 48 game, guys. It could be 45, but 48 at that moment with 25 W, 16 loss, 7 OT, 2.73 GAA, and a .903 also save percentage for him. Would be interesting if Jake can do. But Jake can be a solid goaltender. He did it before in the past. I have confidence right now he can play that role for the Montreal Canadiens. It's all going to depend on the defensive side. The next one is Samuel Montembeault. He just been claimed a couple of weeks ago for the Montreal Canadiens from the Florida Panthers. Montembeault played a couple of games a couple years ago in the NHL. I think he's going to play a max of 12 games, 4 W, 6 loss, 2 OT, save percentage of .901 with a 2.979 GAA. He's going to be there until Price, and then after that, he'll be returned at Laval Rocket at some point. Here, my prediction for the Montreal Canadiens. For the upcoming season, I believe they're going to be 5th in the Division Atlantic. They're going to get 41-31-10 with 92 points. Is it enough to make the playoff? I don't think so, unfortunately. Why, Coach? Because I believe they're going to struggle on the defensive side. I think that's going to be their biggest problem for the upcoming season. Without Dano, Tatar, Weber, missing Price, missing Biron, and Edmundson, and it's too much for the Montreal Canadiens to make the playoff at that moment. My heart don't want this. I'm a big fan of Montreal Canadiens, guys. You know that. But I try to be realistic. If they make the playoff, geez, I would be so happy. I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. Believe me, it's not to be negative here. I just try to be honest with you and to be realistic. This is a prediction. I could be completely wrong, and Coach, it's happened sometimes. So I hope I'm wrong, to be honest with you, but this is my prediction for the Montreal Canadiens. So, guys, this is another year. It's a new year for the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, Dominic Strome is going to be his first year as a full-time behind the bench as a head coach with Luc Richardson and Alex Burrows. Marc Bergevin is on the last year of his contract this season. Can he return? I don't think so. Can he become a president or vice president of Montreal Canadiens? I would not be surprised. In my prediction for the new general manager for the Montreal Canadiens for the next year is going to be Mathieu Darche. This completely the prediction of the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season 2021 and 2022. Hopefully you enjoy it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show on the YouTube channel and on Facebook. Tell us, comment about this video. Tell me, what is your prediction for the Montreal Canadiens for next season. Thanks again for watching another great video. I look forward to see you next video with the coach, Coach Frenchy. Bonne journée, mes amis. On se revoit plus tard. J'attends vos commentaires à propos de votre prédiction pour le Montreal Canadiens pour la prochaine saison. Merci d'être là encore une fois avec l'entraîneur, Coach Frenchy.